The freak-off sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as and
all of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Yeah, the feds are alleging, Harvey, a full-scale criminal enterprise here. They say that Diddy was conspiring with many people, mostly his employees, to engage not just in drawing people out across state lines for the purpose of prostitution.
The disgusting reign of Sean Diddy Combs has finally come crashing down. Just 5 months after those shocking mansion raids, the feds have officially indicted him on a laundry list of serious charges. These bombshells have exposed the dirty underbelly of the entertainment industry, the kind of whispers we've been hearing for years, but now out in the open. And guess who's got something to say? Katt Williams. We've got the juicy details, so let's dive right into it. 1. Courtroom drama. Alright, so let's break down exactly what's been happening with Diddy, or should I say Sean Combs, the now disgraced mogul, whose empire is crumbling before our eyes. You might want to grab your tea because this story is getting crazy real quick. So first things first, Diddy's lawyers have been desperately trying to get him out on bail, crying about the horrific conditions of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And, I mean, we're talking about Diddy here, the same guy who's been flaunting his lavish lifestyle, hosting extravagant parties, and living in mansions. So the thought of him stuck in a jail cell must be sending chills down his spine, right? But here's the kicker. The judge was not having it. Bail denied. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnolifio, told CNN that he will again appeal the ruling. I'm not going to let him sit in that jail a day longer than he has to. He's a stoic guy in his manner, and he's been through a lot in his life. Why, you ask? Well, it turns out that the feds are throwing around some serious accusations, including witness tampering. Yeah, you heard that right. Diddy's legal team is fighting tooth and nail, but the courts are slamming the doors on him because these charges, they're not just petty crimes. Prosecutors opposed releasing Combs on any grounds, telling the court he has attempted to tamper with witnesses and saying the risk of danger is acute. They pointed to an alleged cache of weapons found in the closet of Combs' bedroom and his access to millions of dollars in bank accounts and cash that might make him a flight risk. However, Combs' team didn't back down, and in order to sway a federal judge to release Combs while he awaits trial, his lawyers submitted a new bail package that proposed to restrict all female visitors to his home who are not family members and limit all visitors to his Miami properties. The proposed bail package also included a $50 million bond co-signed by Combs, his mother, and several other family members, surrender of his passport, home detention, weekly detesting, and a visitor log to be submitted nightly to Petrial Services. Impressive, right? But at the start of the hearing, Judge Andrew Carter said that the package did not provide reasonable assurance Combs would return to court. My bigger concern deals with the danger of obstruction of justice and the danger of witness tampering. Combs' attorney then proposed putting in place additional strenuous and maybe unusual conditions to address the judge's concerns, including that Combs have no access to his cell phone or internet and to have an intelligence firm staffed with former state and federal officials monitoring the residence 24 hours a day. But fortunately, the judge claimed that the package was insufficient in ruling that the government had met its burden of proof, so until the very end, there's no chance that the government would provide Diddy with a window to tamper with the evidence. 2. Combs' arrest and indictment. It all started with his arrest just a few days ago, with the long reign of Sean Diddy Combs coming to an abrupt, shocking halt. On Monday night, after dodging multiple SA lawsuits and facing a full-blown federal HD investigation for over a year, Combs was officially and finally arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan. Homeland Security investigators swooped in and took him into custody, ending months of speculation. The arrest was a direct result of a devastating indictment that pulls back the curtain on over a decade of horrific
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in Manhattan after a grand jury indicted him. Multiple sources are telling ABC News. We're told that federal agents with Homeland Security took him into custody. The singer and producer has been facing scrutiny since his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, accused him of trafficking and years of abuse in a 2023 lawsuit.
According to the indictment, Combs didn't just stop at misusing his power. He misused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his carnal desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his sinister conduct. There's no small-time operation here. Prosecutors claim Combs and his inner circle orchestrated what they called freak-offs, substance-fueled, elaborate-esque performances with victims and adult workers. This, along with accusations of physical and SA, was all part of a criminal enterprise that Combs allegedly ran with military-like precision. It's like something out of a dark, twisted movie. When the feds raided his home in March, they reportedly found disturbing evidence that only adds fuel to the fire. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson in court called Combs a serial ayer and serial obstructor, arguing that he should remain behind bars while awaiting trial. And it's not just one isolated incident. There are multiple victims with a dozen witnesses directly implicating Combs, saying they personally witnessed the violence and saw the injuries that resulted from it. Honestly, it looks like Sean's power trips was the thing that literally brought him his downfall. Let's not forget that since last November, Combs has been hit with a staggering 10 lawsuits, 9 of which accuse him of SA, and it doesn't stop there. The indictment claims members and associates of the Combs enterprise were involved in ST, forced labor, S-workers, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, and even arson and bribery. It reads like a laundry list of horrifying criminal activity, with Combs right at the center of it all. Perhaps most chillingly, prosecutors revealed that Dawn Richard, a former member of Danity Kane, who was accusing Combs of S-battery, had a witness in her case who received a jaw-dropping 128 phone calls from Combs within just 4 days of the lawsuit being filed. Talk about intimidation. Combs' legal team, however, isn't backing down. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, claimed that the contact with the witness was the furthest thing from obstruction and promised the truth would come out in court. But with allegations this dark and wide-reaching, it's hard to see how Combs is going to wriggle his way out of this one. This is just the beginning of what's shaping up to be one of the most explosive legal battles in recent entertainment history.
When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs is wilder than anyone could have imagined. It's not just one bad-off behavior. It details over a decade of alleged misconduct that would make even the most scandalous tabloid blush. We're talking verbal, emotional, physical, and mistreatment that Combs reportedly inflicted on women and anyone else who crossed his path. And if you thought that was just rumors, think again. This guy's been accused of everything from choking, hitting, kicking, and dragging victims. It's like he's been running his own twisted underground fight club for years. Now, let's get into the juicy part. A particularly disturbing incident in March 2016. Surveillance footage apparently shows Diddy going full WWE in a Los Angeles hotel, kicking and dragging a woman who is allegedly none other than Cassie, his then-girlfriend, while also throwing a vase for good measure. And if that wasn't enough, he tried to bribe the poor hotel staffer who saw the whole thing, hoping to sweep it under the rug. Classy, right? The video, which went viral in May, completely contradicts Diddy's previous "who, me?" attitude about the allegations. He even issued a half-hearted apology in a now-deleted Instagram video where he said his behavior was inexcusable. Yeah, no kidding. But as we all know, an Instagram apology doesn't exactly erase years of alleged madness. For refreshers, Cassie, who was a decade-long toxic on-and-off relationship with Diddy, sued him in November 2023, accusing him of R and years of mistreatment. And just when things couldn't get messier, they settled the case one day after the lawsuit was filed. Coincidence? I think not. Fast forward to court, and Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson wasted no time bringing up the 2016 video and some spicy text messages Diddy sent afterward. He was clearly freaking out, texting stuff like, "Call me, the cops are here, I got 6 kids, you gonna abandon me?" Well, yeah, it sounds like you've given everyone plenty of reasons to skip. Despite Diddy's legal team trying to brush it off as a personal embarrassment because he got caught cheating, the judge wasn't buying it. When Diddy's lawyer tried to spin the whole thing as jealousy, the judge hit back with, "What's love got to do with that?" basically calling out the nonsense. Now, Diddy's lawyers claim that he's not the same person since he went to rehab. But honestly, after all this, it's looking like the damage is already done. The real question now is, how deep does the rabbit hole go? With all these charges and the mountain of evidence stacking up, it seems like the party's over for Diddy, and no amount of Instagram apologies or industry connections is gonna fix this mess. Believe it or not, it doesn't stop there. He's also been accused of using his entire business empire to cover up these activities. He's basically accused of creating an ST operation where his employees were part of the dirty work, keeping everything under wraps. Anyway, the magnitude of these charges explains why Diddy isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Prosecutors made it clear that Combs is a flight risk and a danger. His empire may have been one of glitz and glamour on the surface, but beneath it, there was something far more sinister at play. However, it turns out that his lawyers are trying to defend Diddy till the end. Diddy's lawyer, Mark, went on record to deny everything, claiming that Combs voluntarily relocated to New York in anticipation of these charges because apparently he has nothing to hide. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5 as soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might, and the full confidence of his lawyers, and I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs. But let's be real, when these kinds of accusations come out, it's hard to imagine anyone voluntarily walking into the lion's den unless they know the walls are closing in. At the news conference Tuesday, Williams, the U.S. attorney, and Combs had not acted alone and indicated it was possible for others that may still face charges. He said he could not specify how many people are believed to have been victimized by Combs, but stressed the investigation is active and encouraged anyone with information about this case to come forward and do it quickly. Combs has been charged with a RICO conspiracy to use his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. 3. Katt Williams and his predictions. With how fast things have unfolded for Diddy, people are pointing out that Katt's predictions at the start of the year are coming true. Y'all remember when Katt said,
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Katt Williams called it. He predicted the storm that's now circling Diddy, and let's just say it's got everyone shook. In his own explosive interview on Club Shay Shay, Katt spilled the tea, claiming he's turned down the $50 million 4 times just to keep his integrity and avoid doing what he calls dirty favors for none other than Diddy. He didn't hold back, saying, "'Cause P. Diddy be waiting to party, and you gotta tell him no, I did. See, I've got the receipts for everything, I'm telling you. That's why I can say I'm so freely." Now, here's where it gets wild. Diddy is apparently knee-deep in multiple SH&A cases, including a shocking one involving a 17-year-old back in 2003. So Katt's bombshell revelation has got the internet buzzing, making his episodes of Club Shay Shay one of the most watched ever. And honestly, it's no surprise. It's pure drama from start to finish. Diddy, of course, came out swinging with a statement saying, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy," he said in a statement in response to the allegations. "Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." Well, Diddy hasn't responded to Katt's claims now that he's arrested. But you know the internet isn't waiting around. They're already running wild with this story, and honestly, who could blame them? When Katt Williams says someone tried to get him to do shady favors for $50 million, people listen. The investigation into Diddy is heating up, and it's only getting messier by the day. Sources are spilling to TMZ that at least one person has been subpoenaed to justify before the grand jury, with more people lining up to cooperate with federal prosecutors. And it's not just hearsay anymore. According to insiders, 2 new individuals, including a current adult worker, are ready to testify about their involvement with Diddy, dating all the way back to 2014. The feds aren't slowing down either. They're gathering more info, interviewing witnesses left and right, and the case is gaining momentum. Just earlier this week, Diddy was hit with an indictment for racketeering conspiracy, ST by force, fraud, coercion, and the transportation of individuals for working. To make matters worse for him, Diddy's been denied bail twice. A judge just reaffirmed the decision yesterday, leaving the music mogul behind bars at the infamous MDC Brooklyn. The man who once ruled the charts is now facing some serious charges, and with the grand jury closing in, it's looking like this saga is far from over. On top of that, John Fuller, the consultant known for prepping high-profile clients like Martha Stewart for their time behind bars, is now weighing in on Diddy's situation, and it's not looking good. While Diddy may not show signs of distress in his early days behind bars, Fuller warns that things could take a dark turn if the trial doesn't swing in his favor. Fuller explained that Diddy, someone who's always lived a life of luxury and control, is now in an environment where power means nothing. This is his version of 9/11, Fuller dramatically put it. According to him, the rap mogul may struggle to cope with the complete hopelessness of his circumstances since he's facing heavy charges like ST, racketeering, and transportation for forced S-work, with no bond in sight. If what Fuller is predicting is true, this may only be the beginning of a long, brutal journey for the Bad Boy Records founder. Anyway, Danity Kane, who's been outspoken about Diddy in the past, Aubrey O'Day reacted to news of Diddy's arrest. She said, "The purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space to create a new chapter. Women never get this. I feel validated. Today is a win for women all over the world, not just for me. Things are finally changing." Attorney Lisa Bloom for Dawn Richards said in a statement, We applaud the grand jury's new indictment on Sean Combs, which is strikingly similar to the federal complaint we filed last week on behalf of our brave client, Don Richard. Given the brutal beating of Sean Combs' girlfriend caught on camera and the 8 people who have now accused him of A in court filings, including Don, this arrest seems long overdue. Even Charlemagne the God couldn't resist chiming in on Diddy's alleged foul play and his rumored forced favors. During a recent episode of The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne let loose, saying, "If he gets racketeering and ST for freak-offs, it will be others involved. Like if you ever ran a train with Diddy, you're probably going to jail. If you ever run butt naked anywhere with Diddy or at butt naked with Diddy, and there was some woman around or some man around that he told you were part of the party, you're probably going to jail." And just like Charlemagne, fans also believe it's the end of the road for Diddy. Anyone who's a 90s kid and followed hip-hop knew that this dude was literally the worst. So gross in how he treated those around him. He was only out for himself back then, and that's pretty clear it's what's going on now. And that's it for today. See you in the next one. Goodbye.